on Sunday.
Chris, just wondering what you felt you guys did well against the Taves and Kane line last night to essentially keep them off the scoreboard.
I'll wait till the door closes. Thanks. I think we just did a good job of denying them time and space. You know, if they don't have the puck, they can't make plays. And for a lot of their shifts, we played in their end, forced them to play defense, and you know, really tried to deny the puck to you know, both Kane and Taves. And the times they did get it, we closed on them quickly and forced them to dump the puck.
Chris, over here, down the right. A lot of interest. We're going to do that, all right? A lot of anticipation about you and the Bufflin matchup. It looked like you initiated more than we've seen in the first 3 rounds with a player.
Well, there was a lot of talk. You guys had a lot to say about him, so I guess we needed to calm that down real quick. I have played in the West for 14 years and played against him a lot, so it's not like I've been out east for my whole career and never played against the guy, so that may have been blown out of proportion, I think. I just tried to deny him easy access to the front of the net. You know, as I said, the first couple days, you know, I think teams allowed him just to go stand there, and you got to force a guy like that to work. You know, he's a big guy, but he's got to exert some energy and work to get into position, and that tires guys out that aren't used to it. He's got to pay a price, whatever that may be.
Chris Daney was in here and said that you know, last night was important because it proved that we belong with this team, regardless of the loss. I mean, do you feel that way, that because maybe Chicago came in as a big-time favorite in this series, that you had to prove that you belonged, that you could play with this team?
Favorite to who? To you guys? This crew in here? All that matters is what we think in that locker room, and that's it. You know, whether the world is picking them as favorites, we've all seen probably one of the most heavily favored Super Bowls, St. Louis against the New England Patriots. That didn't turn out very well, did it? There's a lot of people that lost money on that one. So I don't really buy into the favorites, underdogs, all that. You know, I think from the get-go we believe we can beat that team. You know, do we need to tighten up a few things and play better defensively? Absolutely, but that's why it's a best-of-7 series.
Chris, it sounds like the goalie situation is up in the air right now after
Really?
what Michael Layton was able to do
News
last
to me.
series.
You starting to stir up the pot? Is that what you're doing?
I'm
It's
not.
news to me, so.
That's what your coach said.
Okay.
He still hasn't made a decision.
Okay. Well, maybe he's keeping you on your toes, too.
I think he is. What's your take on the goalie situation, and would you feel bad for Michael if what he was able to do in the last
I
series?
don't have a take. It is what it is. That's a coach's decision. We play the same way, whether Bush is in the net or Lates is in the net. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to us up front, in front of them. We need to play better defensively, whoever's in the net. And that's the bottom line for us. It doesn't matter.
Chris, the result of the game aside, speaking as a defenseman, were you like appalled at all the goals that were scored last night?
I wasn't necessarily appalled. Probably more concerned with how the goals were scored. Just through defensive lapses, really. It wasn't like they created a whole lot. It was more on our mistakes. And I guess that could be disheartening and a positive thing. We can clean that up and we won't be allowing as much.
You've been around long enough to see these kind of things where the goalie decision has to be made. Do you think if he were not to put Layton back in there, that sends a message to the room that I don't have any confidence in him right now? I mean, you're all saying that it was your fault for what happened last night. I mean, not to go back to him, what do you think that says to the team?
Well, I don't think he's made up his mind, so it'd probably be premature for me to speculate or say anything on the matter, Tim. I don't think I will, because I don't like the way you phrased your question. I don't guess. I don't guess.
Chris, you played in Stanley Cup Finals before. Lappy was saying, looking around, he thought maybe some guys, first time being there, trying to get used to it, maybe especially defensively or assignments-wise. Did you see any of that, and how much more comfortable do you think a lot of these guys will be in game two?
Well, I think it's no question. It's good to get a game under your belt, understand, the circus that we're in, and obviously the stakes of the games and the atmosphere of the crowd and all the rest of that. The first game's behind us. Everybody kind of knows what's expected of them now. If they didn't, they do now. And whether guys are nervous or just had mental breakdowns, it happens. The game is a game of mistakes, and how you deal with them and correct them and all the things like that is what makes this game great and makes hockey the sport it is.
Chris, what's it like this time of year?
I don't know what Buff did, but
You stop that. It's dead now.
okay. Oh, thank you. Finally.
What does it feel like, especially at this time of year, to be playing 32 plus minutes a game?
It's exhausting. I don't know. I couldn't get up this morning. I don't even know how I'm sitting here. I almost fell asleep. You know what? It is what it is. It is that time of year, and you do what you can to help your team win. Whether it's playing that many minutes or 24, whatever's asked of you, you do, and you prepare yourself to play as much as you're asked to play. Whether it means you got to shorten your shifts a little bit or alter your game a little bit, you do that. But I feel good. Had some treatment and feel good and ready to go tomorrow.
You guys played a disciplined game yesterday, but do you think as a team you played physically enough?
What do you want me to say? There's two parts to your question.
You guys played a disciplined game. You stayed out of the box, which, it's a different experience for you guys, but, it almost felt like maybe it was a little bit too quiet. Do you feel like you need to pick up the aggression a little bit?
So you don't want us to play disciplined?
I'm not trying to coach this team.
Okay, well, I don't know what you're trying to ask me.
Do you think,
Okay, so should we take more penalties? Is that the question? Is that your question, Tim? I'm sorry. I thought she was asking the question. Can we play more physically? Absolutely. I don't think we need to take penalties in doing so, but I think we got off track a little bit by not getting the puck in deep and being physical in that respect. If we take a couple penalties, so be it. I don't think we're worried about taking penalties. I think we just got off track and started to play a little bit their game, a little more run and gun, and fed into their hand a little bit.
I'll ask this question for Tim, if you don't like it.
Has it got stats in it? Because that's what he's good
It
at.
actually does.
Okay.
Hartnell said that he and Danny were never told to come off the ice when matched up against Taves and Kane. Danny's never been in the Selke conversation, but he had 4 points, Tim, and
1 and 3.
Kane and Taves had no points, -3. Talk about their matchup.
They did a great job. I think that's a line that, with Villy and Danny and Hartsey, they control the puck very well. They're all good with the puck. They make good plays. They keep it simple, and they can all skate, which helps against a line like that. You can close fast. The more you have the puck, the less chance the other team has of getting it and putting it in your net. And as I said at the beginning, against that line, you got to close quickly. You got to eliminate time and space, and you got to try to deny them the puck. And when you're playing with it, forces them out of their rhythm and forces them to play defense, which they obviously don't want to do.
Chris, you've played in Stanley Cup final games in Carolina, Southern California. Is the ice surface this time of the year par for the course, or is it a little bit disappointing, considering that this is the biggest series of obviously the year, and that the conditions are not optimal?
Well, it's pretty hard for them to be optimal in June. It is what it is. It's getting hot out, humid out. While it is the Windy City, we can't open the doors, as we talked about yesterday, and let all that cold wind in. But no, I don't think it's any worse than it was in Anaheim or Carolina or whatever. As you progress further into the playoffs, the ice usually gets a little bit softer. It's tough. It's tough to keep it that cold. We could make it hard, but it'd be about 4 degrees in the building. I'm sure the fans wouldn't appreciate that very much. We're in parkas in June.
Chris, as much as these games get magnified and you guys are down 1-0 here, it seems like the guys on the ice today are loose. You're up here joking around, you're loose. How crucial is it to be loose and relaxed, even though you guys have a 1-0 deficit here?
Well, the world's not ending. and the